Women are entitled to preference. I don't disagree with that. It's just that men are too, and when they express preference, then all of a sudden they're shamed and they're called controlling.
A lot of guys don't do the reprimand to like pushing the boundary. A lot of guys are like, "Now I'm mad at you," whereas Jonah's like, "I'm breaking up with you," and that doesn't happen. That really does not happen. And usually most men will just put up with it. They just keep going. They keep getting mad, and the relationship keeps getting more toxic. Right. And so I think that's a problem right now. I think more men need to take a stand and like actually like if they put a boundary down, that's the boundary.
And this comes back to my point here. And I was about to tell you this is that men are not allowed to have standards today. We can't have standards. And when we do, we're called misogynists, we're called manipulative, we're called judgmental, we're called every name in the book, because anything that infringes on a woman's independence. And anyway, like those homosexual guys who are the therapists on there. Oh, can you believe it's her body? She can do whatever she wants to with it. That's not even the part of the scenario in any of this. That's the direction that it goes.
Rolo, there's a specific line. Okay, I'm gonna just use an example.
For cheating.
No. Specific line for men having standards or whatever, not being allowed to. There's a way to go about it, though. I have heard endless clips on TikTok and Instagram, men saying that they refuse to date a single mom. Now, I don't have kids, but I take offense to that because they're telling the entire world that a woman with a child is basically coming to them with baggage. She's used up. She's damaged good.
Less than.
They're cuckolding themselves.
Right. So it's okay to have standards. It's okay to have a preference. What it's not okay is for you to degrade somebody that's not within your preference. And that is the difference. When a man has a standard, him going around saying that girl's too fat, you don't have to say that she's fat. She's not your preference.
You just
Move
filter.
on.
Or you look like a 304 because you have fake.
Right. Everyone's gonna say some nasty shit.
That's 304 for fake boobs.
Here's the thing. Everyone has. If a guy says, "I don't want to get with a single mom because she has baggage," I don't want to get with a fat chick because I'm not into fat chicks, and that's for a guy.
Your issue is the language, not that they have a preference.
It's not a preference. You are allowed. Everybody has a preference.
But here's a problem. Okay, so if a woman says, "I only want a guy who's 6 feet tall,"
okay.
I don't take offense to that because I'm a dude and I understand and I can wrap my head around the fact that women select for height. So if a guy is taller, he tends to be more attractive.
5'4".
But seriously, but if you go and you look statistically at like the filters that women put on like say Tinder and stuff like that, they're putting it at 6 feet and above.
Absolutely.
Right. So
but if a woman is saying I don't want a man that's under 6 feet, what's the difference between a man saying I don't want a fat woman?
Because fat is optional and you can choose that. 6 feet, you can't.
No, I'm saying I'm saying the language.
It's fine.
If he can say it, she can say it.
It's fine either way. The thing is, when women say I prefer men who are taller, really no one calls them out. With the exception of like a few of these panel shows, it doesn't happen. When men say I prefer women who are
then
skinnier,
it's like, body positive.
It's you are being shamed for not being body positive. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Well, and it's not offensive for you to say I only want a guy who may. Well, in the case of CJ Sparks, I only want a guy who makes $5 million a year. Right?
It's not offensive,
and that's not offensive to me. But it's still along the same lines of like this is what I filter for. This is what I prefer. So when you have like women making songs about I don't want to have a broke ass, it's my boyfriend, right? I don't take offense to that, but maybe guys ought to take more offense to that because it's the same dynamic as what she was saying.
No, men
right
are
here.
already offended enough online. Please, they're already offended enough. I just think I don't mind the language. If a man says I don't want a fat woman, I don't care how you say it. He's just expressing what he doesn't like.
So by the way, that hate and that pushback, that shame, that everything else, not only does it come from women, it comes from other guys too who are trying to say, "Yeah, girl, those guys are real. Those guys are sons of."
So just consider this: if a woman started texting a man, and this woman was just like a famous woman, he started saying, "I don't appreciate you hanging out with these girls who are wild. I don't want you hanging out with your guy friends who are single. I don't like the fact that you go out there and you're friends with these girls on social media. I don't want you going to these certain locations." I guarantee you, I will bet you any amount of money that those two therapists would call that healthy boundary setting, and they would not call it controlling. Because a woman did that to a man. That is the point we're trying to make. Women are entitled to preference. I don't disagree with that. It's just that men are too, and when they express preference, then all of a sudden they're shamed and they're called controlling.
I think it's because I feel like a dominant man is not allowed these days. And a man putting his foot down and telling his boundaries is a person that's trying to control you, rather than a man actually knowing what he wants and what he doesn't want. And it, unfortunately, which sucks, because then a woman like me that actually wants a dominant man and has finally learned how to be submissive, I've been getting a lot of like submissive men that are like tiptoeing around,
walking on eggshells.
And also, and my thing is, I really hate when women say, oh, I want a man that like I can build up, I can do this. I'm sorry. Okay, so my age is 33. I'm not old, but I'm old, and I can't stand when I have to sit there and lecture my man about what it is to be a man, and be like, yo, this is what a man is supposed to be.
You want him to just get it.
I want him to get it, because, and I get the frustration where it comes to me too. So it's like, you want me to just get it and be a female and be feminine. But it is very frustrating, and it's not sexy. It's not attractive, because you're thinking to yourself.
You have to explain masculinity to a man.
And that's a problem, because they don't have the tribal upbringing in order to have that masculinity, and they don't have the locker room hijinks to learn that, like any of those things. There should be a way for people at this age to learn masculinity. moa.mentoring.com. moa.mentoring.com.
And they need that, because honestly, so the last question is, so all the podcasts always ask, oh, how much money would you have to date a man, right? So I've dated a man that literally made absolutely nothing. Nothing. He lived under my house. I paid for his schooling. I paid for all his food. Under my roof. I'm sorry. Under my roof.
On the crawl space.
He was putting it down, huh? He was putting it down.
Yes, and also I had a lot of money because I was bottle service. I had a lot of money, and I just wanted somebody to like just do all the things with me who had no responsibilities, right? But the problem with that is, which I didn't realize that men actually kind of have it hard. Because I realized when this house burnt down, I had to put my dog on my back, him on my back, and I had to figure out a way to save us both. Which I was like, that's scary to me. 2, if I wanted to have a kid and let's say like I have complications, can he pay for me when I'm like in the hospital? That's hard.
Provisioning.
Yes. And then it was a lot of stress in general. I'm like, I don't want to do this. This is not okay. Like, I don't want a man that makes nothing or that just sits under me.
Well, it's not just stress. It's that you lose respect.
Yeah.
Because you are a goal-oriented person. And if that person doesn't have goals and just wants to
fire under his ass,
pick up his socks,
and that was my last thing too. Is like
that's what happens.
He also is like, it was like almost like a child where he didn't respect how much I made to bring him the lifestyle that he had. I was taking him to Gucci. He got whatever he wanted. Louis,
yo, there's a bunch of dudes in the chat like, what's this girl's number? I get to live in it.
I was Sugar Mama Central.
Sugar Mama.
He got all the threesomes.
Got the threesomes. Got the Gucci bag. Put a 1 in the chat if you're down for the threesomes in the Gucci bag. Put a 1 in the chat.
So not like he didn't understand what he had, that he took it so far for granted. Like
that must have been cow.
I know, he must have been laying down the D, because that's the only thing. That's the only like redeemable
men with no
quality.
money have the best.
And he was 5'4".
Well, and you know why that is.
It's very confusing.
She's like, you know why that is though? It's because you have already more or less taken care of your long-term security. You already got the money, you got the bag, you got your education, provisioning, protection, and parental investment. You've taken it upon yourself. You become the man you wanted to marry, right? And so what's left? Well, I don't need a man. I want a man. Okay, what kind of man do you want? Well, apparently he lays down the D. That's probably the only criteria at that point, because you've taken care of everything else.
Say it again. What did you say? The man with no money?
I said the man with no money has the best.
Tell us about the homeless. Is this a homeless guy? Is this a homeless guy?
The best sex I ever had was from a guy that was homeless.
That's their transaction.
Homeless while you were.
Hold on, stop. We need to get a clip here. One more time. Let's put it on her face. One more time. Explain how the best sex you've ever had was with a guy who was homeless. Go.
The best sex I've ever had was from a man who was homeless.
He needed a place to stay.
Yeah. He worked.
Absolutely. Homosexual. What is that called? Homosexual.
A hobosexual.
Homosexual. There we go.
Homosexual.
Homosexual.
Yeah,
so wait, he was actually like homeless.
Well, when I met him, he had a place. Then we got together. Then we were on and off a lot. And then he was actually sleeping on the beach and taking a shower at 24 Hour Fitness.
That's a life.
Yeah.
So
No,
it really was Point Break.
He made it work.
He really was. And you know, that's one of my favorite movies ever. It's one of my favorite movies ever. Yeah, and then I did the whole thing like, oh my God, no, you could be better than this. I got a place. Just come to New York and stay with me.
Why did we do that?
And let me tell you, he paid rent with that business, and it was good.
It was good.
It was good.
It was good.
You understand.
And so now you're getting older, and the thing is, what sucks about getting older is like, you kind of settle for things, but then you don't want to ever do that again.
Right.
Because you're like, man, like, I do need you to have money. I do need you to do this.
Yeah, because your standards went up.
You know, as a guy, it's the same thing. Like, I only cared. Like, the things I would tolerate for a girl with really big boobs when I was 25 years old was outrageous. Like, I would like literally anything. And now it's like, you know, there has to be a lot of things going on, like namely loyalty.
Mike, you have a type, and I know what the type is.
You know what's funny? I took this guy, right, helped him out, cleaned him up, showered him down, shaved him down, you know what I mean, made him walk upright. And men, but here's the thing. Men will try to shame me for picking like the loser or whatever, but I'm like, and then you get mad when we say we want 6 figures.
Yes.
So which one is it?
Yes.
So
You want a shot?
Yes.
What happened to him after you broke up with him?
Probably still on the beach.
No, he
actually had sex with he had sex with Lena the Plug today on Rogers.
He's actually still living off women. He's still living off women.
And that's what they do.
So Cinder Swindler of the beach.
Oh yeah, yes.
I feel like
when I saw that movie, I was like, that's him.
I feel like Fresh and Fit and all these people want to talk about how women are like this, but a lot of modern men these days, they don't do what it takes to make money to provide. They literally are like women. They live off of other people or just happen to come upon something. And maybe it's because I'm in Vegas. But my thing is, no offense to anybody that does any type of sex work, no offense. It's no offense.
Get it how you live.
But my thing is, the reason why I never got into it is because as a bottle service girl, I was working at a strip club. And I thought to myself, I would never do that a day in my life because, oh my God, you're a whore. Okay, that's when I was younger. I started working in a strip club, realizing everybody's kind of like a normal person, whatever. But I'll never be a stripper. Only reason I never got into that because even as a bottle service girl, it was so hard, even with a degree, to get out of bottle service after so long of making money because my resume was only nightlife and had nothing to do with my degree. So even getting the job that I'm in right now, it was so hard. And it is a trap. Like, unless you're working and saving all your money to get to do something that's not sex work, you're making so much money in OnlyFans and stripping and stuff like that. You just fall into the trap. And that's what scared me because I'm like, I'm going to love this money and the security that I'm not going to know how to get out of this. And even getting the job that I have right now, it took me forever. And it was just by like luck that I got it. And I'm like, thank God.
That's one of the things that guys tell me is like whenever they become red pill aware and they start listening to me and everything, they can't listen to like because listening to the lyrics is hard for them. Old music from like the 80s that they used to like sing out loud in their cars. Like I can't sing this anymore. It's too.
No, I have to. I mean, after experiencing this, like I have an ex I got to call and apologize to.
Oh yeah, you're gonna go and do that
because it's the boundaries thing, and I realize now after this, that I set all these boundaries, but I was like, well, I can still do this, and I can still be cute online, but you better not. If I catch you, you know what I mean?
Oh no,
so I was open, and he was closed.
One of the things I love,
and I didn't get it then.
When I I manage all these contests or whatever, and I talk to a bunch of girls, and they'll be really honest with me, and they'll say crazy shit. Be like, yeah, I fuck around with these other guys. I have like 3 or 4 sugar daddies or whatever, but my boyfriend cannot talk to any other girls.
Right.
I will kill him.
Right.
And I'm just like listening to this, and it's like crazy. These are huge models that I know that do this too. And you just hear it, and I'm like, well, this has got to be anecdotal. This is not like the majority of women. But then I see it happen all the time.
I did it. I did it, I think, every time, in every relationship. Yeah.
Did what?
Just the open close thing that Rolo was talking about. I always felt like I can have my male friends and I can post these pictures. But if I see you even breathing the same oxygen as another woman,
as that
I'm
waitress.
scorching. Right, I'm turning the yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I think you know who you are. My bad.
Insight.
It's called growth.
It's called growth. It's called growth. But I'm so much better now. Now I'm the girl that will text and call and be like, hey, I apologize for last night. I was projecting. It wasn't even your fault. I'm there now. Wasn't there back then. But now I'm like, my bad.
Again, that's what comes with age and maturity. These 18-year-old and 19-year-old girls are not going to give that to you.
Well, they don't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.